I'm the vocalist bass player though.
There you go. My wife's just given me like fucking really bad information. Thanks, babe. So yeah, excellent. Are you the tattoos?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, she told me you were a drummer. Thanks.
That's probably the
Well
only
done.
instrument that I really can't play very well.
I should have, you know what, it should have just gone bang. You got guitars behind you.
Yeah.
Why would you be a drummer? Anyway, Segression, tell us a bit about the band, how long you've been together, how many members?
Like we've gone through a few lineup changes over the years, but we started in the early '90s as a band called Easy in Wollongong, and we played a load of local shows. And we got offered to one time we got offered to play a little gig down in Melbourne for $50. So we thought we're gonna make it if we do these. So we traveled down to Melbourne, and we were firstly offered a support with an American band, but we weren't actually supporting them. We were playing in a club next door, and the band happened to be a death metal band from Florida, and we weren't a death metal band. We were pretty heavy at the time, but we weren't death metal. And they were called Deicide. They had a lead singer named Glenn Benton, and Glenn
Yep.
had a crucifix burnt into his forehead just before he come out to do the tour. So what
Wow.
happened? We were meant to play in this club next door to Deicide at 1 in the morning as like a graveyard shift for $50, and someone threw a can of VB at Glenn Benton's head like 3 songs into Deicide's set. So what happened from there was everyone he walked off stage, and they had no band to watch, so they all come next door, and we played for like 2 hours. And
Excellent.
the promoter was that grateful that they said we'll give you another show. We've got a band coming out that's just starting to crack it a little bit. Would you like to play with them in your hometown of Wollongong? So we played at a venue called Waves, and we supported Machine Head.
Oh,
And
wow.
from there, then we decided we no longer sound like Easy. We need to change our name. So in 1996, we changed the name to Segression, and we went on to tour with Ozzy Osbourne, Slipknot, Pantera. We released 6 or 7 albums, and we're just about to reform in 2026 as the 30th anniversary of the band.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Back in I don't know, 96, um, would have Frozen Doberman still been playing around
Yes,
then?
they were. Yeah, we played with Frozen Doberman. They were from up near Gosford Way, from memory.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Great guy.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
I've actually caught up with one or two of them in around 2010. They come to a Segression show.
Okay. Okay.
I'm still friends with a couple of the boys on Facebook, to be honest.
All right. Well, you should have a chat to him, and it's this is the same story as you're talking about as the deicide thing. It was up at the Playroom on the Gold Coast, and Motorhead were playing, and Fraser Doberman, they were the support band, and third song, well, first song, Lemmy got hit in the head with a can. Second song, Lemmy got hit in the head with a can. Same person. Third song, after he'd said one more time, we're off. Third time it happened, Motorhead left the stage. This guy had to get walked out by security. Like punters wanted to kick the living fuck out of this dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like everyone had been waiting for Motorhead. This
Of
was, I
course.
think, 90. Oh shit, early 90s anyway.
Yeah.
And then Fraser Doberman got to get back up on stage and finish the Motorhead set,
Yeah.
and which was, I wanted to see Motorhead. Like I was there to see
Of
Motorhead, but
course.
like fucking I love Fraser and Doberman have been one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, great band.
I'm not,
Great
and
band.
I'm not into metal.
Yeah,
I love
they're
my
great.
punk.
They're a great bunch of guys too. They're really
Mm,
nice people. But the funny thing was when
yeah.
we played with Machine Head, they'd actually lost their original drummer just before they come to Australia. So they borrowed a
Right.
punk drummer named Walter Ryan from Madball. And
Okay.
Walter only learnt 5 or 6 songs. So when we played with Machine Head, we ended up playing for twice as long as they did. So the whole thing spiraled, and we ended up Machine Head guys went back and said how cool it was that we did that for them.
Um,
Then we ended up getting asked to tour with Fear Factory, and then the rest is history. Just kept going.
yeah. Wow.
or
So
luck.
anyway, I'll get into the questions that I like to ask. As a child growing up, what music were you subjected to? What did your mum and dad play
Well, the
while you were
first
growing up?
concert that my dad took me to was George Thorogood and the Destroyers at Shelley's, and I was way underage. But
Right.
my dad was a tattooist, so he knew the security at Shelley's, so he got me in underage to watch George Thorogood and the Destroyers. And but my dad had basically everything from Black Sabbath playing to ZZ Top to all sorts of music. I was exposed to a lot of different bands, at a really early age.
Yeah, that's good. That I was fucking mum was into ABBA and Rod Stewart and all that sort of shit. But my dad, he was a big AC/DC fan.
Yeah.
And this like AC/DC had only been around like 3 years, I think, when I was I think it was about 8 or 9, and they played on the harbour, Sydney Harbour,
Yeah.
on a fucking raft with Ted Mowry Gang and John Paul Young. And like as I said, I was 7 or 8 or something, and it was Bon Scott's AC/DC. So I got that. Yeah, I got to see that because Dad was a pisshead. He loved his Aussie rock, and
Yeah, of course.
Mum loved the music. So we always went to like Narara and all those sort of fucking festivals and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was lucky in that way. So did the music your parents or your dad and your mum play when you were a kid, did that have any effect on you and your music style as you progressed?
Yeah, I just wanted to play music. I just knew that that was my thing. So
Mm.
I've been playing bass guitar from probably like 10 or 11 years old. So when I was 17, I moved back to Wales to have my 18th birthday with my grandmother, because I was born in Wales. And when I went back there, I basically sat down for like 8 to 10 hours a day and just played nonstop. I was jamming in a music store in Cardiff, and there's like a person of color who's a bass player, and I got talking to him, and he was such a nice guy, and he was jamming with me, and it turns out he was Nathan East. He played with Eric Clapton, and I just had these little connections through my whole life where I've been fortunate
Mm.
enough to hook up with amazing people. Like as soon as I come back to Australia, I joined a band called, like I said, it was called Easy, and I was a lot younger than the guys. My first trip into a recording studio, I was recording at Albert's Studios, which was AC/DC Studios in Sydney. So I've just fallen on my feet like my whole career. But
Yeah.
in saying that, I've put a lot of time into learning my instrument and playing. I've been fortunate enough to represent a guitar brand at NAMM, which is a National
Oh,
American Music Manufacturers. I played there twice.
yeah.
Um,
Wow.
I just love music. I just love my instrument. I never did it to be in a band that made it. For me, getting up on stage is a bit of a thing because I'm a quiet, softly spoken sort of person. So I
Mm.
have to flick a switch in my head to get up on stage and do what I do. But
Yeah.
I love it, and like I said, I just love music. I love playing. I play with my brother-in-law doing covers in local, um, bowling clubs and stuff, just because I love playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, when I was in that stage of going to see bands like this in the 80s and early 90s, I'd go see a jazz band if there wasn't anything else on, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
It's
that's
I just live music to me was just fucking fantastic, and it still is. I love live music. It's fucking amazing.
well. We used to play on bills where it was cool back in the day because we would play on bills with bands that we didn't match with. So we would do a show with the Dream Killers from Queensland and Toe to Toe and
Mm,
Segression. And it would be a good night because the punk kids and the hardcore kids would get into metal, and then the metal kids would get into like the rock, and it was just a cool
yeah,
vibe all around. And that's the
yeah.
sort of thing that we've always stood for as a band is, doing something a bit different, a bit segregated from the mainstream, playing with
Mm,
hardcore bands, playing with metal bands,
mm.
playing with rock bands, like even playing with funky jazz bands. We played a show once at Northgong with the Sharp, which is like a three-piece from Melbourne with a double bass. And it
Yeah,
worked.
right.
We've played with
Yeah,
the Choir Boys at Waves as
well,
well.
yeah.
So, we've always done that as a band.
It's actually good to like I was living at Port Kembla for a while, so at like a minute's walk from the servo. And there was a lot of the times they'd have a show on there and it'd be three or four different genres.
Yeah.
I remember going this one night and there was just this guy on a guitar singing blues. And then there was a jazzy kind of a band after that. Then there was a rocky kind of punkish kind of a sound band. And then the headliner was this Puerto Rican fucking band. They're Australian, but the lead singer girl, she was Puerto Rican, and they also had another guy. He was Puerto Rican as well on vocals, and it was that kind of funky sound, but he'd go into these rap fucking spiels like it began. Look, they had bongos, they had trumpets, they fucking had everything, and then this guy would just go into a fucking 3 minute rap spiel. Like it was, I was quite impressed.
How
I
cool
was
is it?
quite impressed.
How cool is
It
it
was,
when you play nights like that?
mm,
But
yeah,
I've even stepped into music production through my career and recorded bands, and I've mixed some of the local punk bands. Run for Cover, I've mixed one of their albums.
excellent. Is that what do you think you're just gonna like? As you just said, you just mix. Have you ever thought about going into producing or anything like
Yeah,
that? Or
I've produced the last three Segression records, and I've worked with other bands. It's not something that I actively pursue because I'm kind of busy tattooing. I've been at uni, and got a few different degrees in other areas, and I'm always busy doing stuff. I've got a family, a wife and two
Mm,
daughters. My daughters are grown now, but so you get a bit more free time to go back into music again.
yeah,
But yeah, I love everything about music. So if the opportunity comes around where a band goes, can you record something for us or can you help us write something? 9 times out of 10, I say yes, because
yeah,
I just love connecting with people and I just love
mm,
everything about music.
yeah. Hey, if you got the opportunity to do the score for a movie, what genre movie would you like it to be, or it wouldn't matter, or
I'd have to do a thriller, I reckon, because of just the
yeah,
emotion. So with a thriller, you can have some real eerie moments and then you have some real, take your head off moments, like
yeah,
brutal.
correct. And
And I love the dynamic of music where it can come so softly down, and I
mm,
like the emotional connection of the songs. So yeah, I'd probably
yeah.
be a thriller for sure because it's got more emotion than a family sitcom.
Oh, definitely. And thrillers and horror movies too. There's a lot of that bass sound
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. I love that about the bass. It changes your heartbeat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, what's happening next with Segression? Touring
Well, we've
album?
first we've got to get back into rehearsing as a band because we've had about 3 years off from rehearsals. So we're putting together. We've got a slightly new lineup which we will be announcing in the new year. We've just changed one of the guitarists over, so we'll be announcing the new member very soon. So
Wow.
that's exciting. And yeah, we're looking at writing some new material, but first we're going to get a really strong set. We've got a massive back catalog, so we're going to go back through that back catalog, pick all the songs that people want to hear when we play live. And the other thing that we've done over the last couple of years is we got a little bit disillusioned with the streaming services, so we've pulled all of our back catalog offline. So it's extremely difficult to get a hold of anything Segression. But come New Year's Eve, we're going to start drip feeding all the back catalog back to everyone. So we're going to make it really easy for you to get it. But we just had a little bit of time where we just hibernated the band.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a Segression anywhere else in the world or something, but are you guys biomechanical?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking I've been listening to that since the day you tattooed my daughter.
Well,
When my wife came home and said, "Oh, I just met this guy," blah, blah. And so straight away I fucking checked you out, and I think I listened to about 20 of your songs, and Biomechanical and Gone
yeah.
are not pissing in your pocket are fucking epic songs, man. I love them. And I'm not a big metal fan.
I
And
really appreciate it.
they were fucking I put them on my song list on
That's
my
really cool.
phone. Yeah, they're fucking who writes the songs? Do you all
I,
chuck in or
I write every lyric because basically I've got to believe in what I'm saying. So it's
Mhm.
not that I can't believe somebody else's words, but when I write them, it's coming from my heart.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got to feel everything that I'm doing. It's not so much a thought process. I immerse myself in the whole project. So if I'm
Mm,
writing a song, I've got to connect with with myself and the music, and then I've got to try and work out how I can connect with everyone that's going to listen to it. And I want
yeah,
people to listen to our songs and take something away from them. I don't want to tell them how to feel. I want them to work that out for themselves. And like someone like yourself, never been into the band, then here's a song like by Mechanical, smack, connection, job done. You know, that's
yeah.
that's
Oh,
that's all
definitely,
like
man.
that's as a musician, that's all you're looking for.
Yeah. As when I was telling Shay, my producer, that I was in interviewing Segression, that Biomechanical was a song I sent him. Like, fucking check this out. These are the guys that we're interviewing on Sunday, and like, yeah, it's fucking
Can
yeah, one of
confirm
those
it was
songs
pretty
that
rad.
really, really deep.
Well, if I can guide you a little bit, try and look up Painted in Blood because that song is really special to me. It's one of the later songs that we've released. It's more
Okay.
mature in the songwriting, but what we did, I've got a friend of mine who was a tattooist right through the mid 90s and early 2000s. He's still tattooing occasionally today. His name's Rev Mayers, but he became quite well known globally because he would do portraits of people painted in his own blood.
Oh, wow.
But you would hook up an IV line to his vein and airbrush paintings. And he did one of Jonathan Davis from Korn, who actually, has got the picture, and they've become quite good friends. But we wrote the song and an album called Painted in Blood for him. And the film clip
Yeah,
is fucking epic. If you can get your hands on it. If you can't, just let me know and I'll send you a copy because
definitely.
it's so emotional. It's a really
Yeah.
cool song.
Yeah, it sounds actually now that you say it, that guy sounds familiar. I think I saw a thing of his. Um, my son showed me it was on TikTok, and it was a oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, yeah, it sounds very familiar now that you're saying about it. And is it people are actually getting blood tattoos now, aren't
Well, I'm not too sure. I don't get many requests for anything like that.
they? Yeah, yeah. I just saw something about it not long ago. The fucking Machine Gun Kelly got his wife or whatever, fucking whoever she is. Yeah, he got her name tattooed on him in her blood.
Well,
Like I
yeah,
think
I can't.
obviously it was mixed with tattoo ink.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think you could just put blood in someone and
And,
it
and
stay there.
I pride myself on being so hygienic and avoiding cross-contamination. That would be a
Yeah,
nightmare for me. So I probably, yeah, nothing that I could endorse.
yeah, yeah. No, my my wife was saying, she goes, "Oh my God, it was just so clean. Like he's right onto fucking everything being sterile and blah blah blah." And actually, while we're at it, if you want to say the name of your shop and where you are,
Well, we got a little shop in Warilla. It's called Rand Tattoo. It's family owned and run. We've got a My dad is a tattooist. My daughter's a tattooist. We've got three generations of our family all tattooing in there. And yeah, well, for me to be into hygiene, my dad was one of the first tattooists in the entire globe that was wearing gloves. Because he's been tattooing
Okay.
since the 60s. So he introduced a lot of the current practices and regulation, especially in Australia, my dad's responsible for.
Excellent. Excellent. It seems like you haven't got a boring life. It seems like you're putting yourself out there in a lot of things.
I live my life to the fullest. One of my proudest moments has nothing to do with tattooing, nothing to do with uni, nothing to do with music. And I got to a point in my life I wanted to challenge myself in something completely different. And I got bullied a little bit because I was a little bit of a chubby sort of kid. So I decided to get fit in my 30s. So I took up running. And I thought to myself, how can I do this running business and really push myself? Because I'm never going to be an Olympian, but by the look of it, I'm not that talented or gifted in having that much time. But I set myself a task to qualify for the Boston Marathon, and I did.
Well,
I went there and I run it.
you actually got to run it.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's a funny story. I don't know if you're a spiritual guy, Matt, but I qualified for 1 year to go, and my father-in-law got diagnosed with a heart condition. So I said to my wife, we won't go because we don't know how long your dad's got. So we cancelled it. Turns out he was misdiagnosed. This is going back 2013. So in 2014, I set about re-qualifying so that I could go again. But what happened? The Canberra Marathon was on at the same time as the Boston Marathon, which was my qualifying race. So
Yep.
I was meant to be there the year that the bombs went off. When I
Uh,
re-qualified, I lost a close friend of mine, so I got a little patch of his name, Eric Brown, and I ran the Canberra Marathon for my friend that just passed away. And
excellent.
my GPS watch, no word of a lie, I was running with a GPS watch. It has your distance that you traveled, your time that you're running, your heartbeat. It has all these functions. Anyway, my watch mysteriously stopped on 2 hours and 52 minutes, and there's no function that I could press on that watch to make it do that. You stop one thing, you stop everything,
Yeah.
the whole watch stop. Anyway, so
Yeah.
there's no. I get back to my hotel room in Canberra, and I qualified, ready to go to Boston the following year. And
Wow.
I got an email from the running club that I was a member of, Kemmler Joggers, and it had a list of Eric's achievements as a runner. And he'd run 2 hours and 52 minutes as his personal best time on that course that I just completed. My watch
Right.
landed in 2 hours, 52 minutes.
Yeah.
So getting back
Yeah.
to going to Boston, now the Boston race was on the same time, and I was meant to be there that year because I qualified the year before.
Mm.
Year the bombs went off, and if you get this, and all of this, you can Google everything I've told you. The person that died first in the Boston bombing of the marathon was a lady named Karen Rand. That's my wife's name.
Fuck
And my
me.
my wife and kids stand at the same spot every marathon. I've done 9 marathons, and I don't want to look for them because I'm fucking buggered by the time I'm finished 42 Ks. So I just look
Yeah.
to the back from the finish line about 800 meters, and they're there. So the following year, I actually went to Boston and ran, and I'm looking and I found them. They were there's a million spectators, and I still found my wife and kids on the way. I could see them where they're standing. When I caught up to them after the race, I said, "How did you manage to get your same spot that you always get?" My wife looked at me and she said, "We stood where the bombs went off. No one else would stand there."
Huh?
So that's
What?
and get this even further. My wife and myself, our surname is Rand, but that's our business name. Because when you're a tattooist, there used to be Ed Hardy, Sailor Jerry, Johnny Dollar. You changed your name as a tattooist. And my dad lived in South Africa, so he adopted the Rand as his surname because it's the currency. So the person that died in Boston bombing wasn't actually Karen Rand. They announced it as Karen Rand because the person holding her ID actually passed away. So it gets
What?
even freakier. And ever since that moment, like I've never been a religious or spiritual person, but that makes me question everything. Like
Oh, definitely.
there's
And
some sort of universal energy around that we just can't
yeah,
explain.
yeah. And I don't know if that would urge me on or turn me off kind of thing. Like,
It did both to me.
yeah. And you had to make that decision.
Yeah.
Do I do it or do it? How do I take this? Do I take it this way or do I take it that way? You know?
What it makes
To
me
me,
feel.
it would have been like I'm not doing. There's no way, nah. But I'm like probably one of the most unluckiest person you've ever met. I'm just fucking unlucky. One of the unluckiest cunts, man. I tell you what. I shouldn't say that. I've got 8 beautiful children and a beautiful wife, and I suppose that's the luckiest thing that could ever happen to a human being is to have a family, you know.
But what I
Like
think.
my wife told you, but we lost a daughter last year to
Sorry, boss.
her boyfriend murdered her.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, like yeah,
that's so terrible. I'm so sorry for your loss.
and I think I've given that to I've brought that into the family that because that case fucking unluckiness. Like my dad, who he grew up in a fucking orphanage in Melbourne. Then he met my mum, blah, blah, blah. He was one of the most unluckiest person. He was given the name Coase by the orphanage. He was left on the orphanage steps and he was given the name Coase. And so I'm actually second generation really Coase. There's no other Coase before my dad. Like they made that name up just bang.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad I've got 4 daughters still around that can bring me more coaches. Oh no, they don't. So I've got one, two, three sons that can bring out more coaches if they have kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all talking about you. Um, Keep going. Like what about your running? What you've been doing? Well, like it's very interesting. You're a runner, you're a tattooist, you're a bass player, not a drummer. Thank you. Um, she's just come in. Yeah. So what tell us more about Rand.
I think I'm just an average guy that just has a crack, man. I just put my mind to whatever I'm gonna do and I just give it my whole being. I don't live in a box where I think I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that. It's like if I want to go for a 10K run, I'll put my shoes on and I'll go. If I want to do an interview, then I'll just do it. Like I
Yeah.
think the way that I get through everything is not by thinking if I'm lucky or if I'm not lucky. The way that I get through things is just realizing that my path is my path.
Mm.
Whatever happens to me, the way that I get through my life is to realize that at any given moment, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's a good way of
I've,
thinking.
I've struggled with mental health issues myself, um, anxiety, depression. I think my view on it is if you're depressed, you're thinking too much about the past. If you're
Mm.
anxious, you're thinking too much about the future. So if you can try your best to live in the now, you minimize both of those things, and just
Hmm.
realize that whatever happens in your life, you're meant to experience that. And for whatever reason, some things must be terrible. Like, I couldn't imagine like losing a child. You hurt my heart when you said that, but I could actually feel that. And, but whatever you're meant to go through, I think you're meant to experience that for whatever reason. Your path is your path. You're meant to be where you're meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that I don't know. I don't think you could ever fully get through, get over. I think like you in a way, like I just do things. I started the show. I did that when COVID happened, but and I'll go see bands. I try to do things in live with and not having to have that in my head 24/7 kind of thing. So I take away
Distract
that
yourself.
feeling. Yeah, yeah. That's the best way of putting it, I'd
See, and
say.
I play in a band, I play music, and then it brings me to have a conversation with someone like yourself. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's how great music is. It connects
Yeah.
people. It brings people that ordinarily wouldn't pass in the night past each other, and it brings them together. And it's quite powerful. Like some of the conversations that you have starting off about music can be quite emotive. And what else
Oh, for
ever
sure.
does that? You know, like
Mm, yeah. It's actually when I first started doing this show, I interviewed this band called the Leftards, and it ended up the singer of the band was the guy that we took our keys to get cut. He's got this shop, and like for fucking 10 years or more, I didn't even notice about this guy. Like he 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 looked like your average fucking worker. You know, I would not have pictured him in this fully Aussie punk band. Like, and he is in the he does punk shit. Like he'll jump on. He just lost a drummer because he jumped on the drummer and you know wrestled about and the guy that was drumming just thought that was just too out there. There's, you know, I'm not that punk, so he left the band and all this sort of shit. But I didn't even know this guy, and now like we did have conversations and shit, but now when I see him, we just he's unless someone comes to get their key cut or something, like we'll just sit there till my wife says, "Come on, we've got to go." You know, I've finished shopping, blah blah blah.
I love
We just
that.
it's just a great music is a great conversation piece, I think.
100%.
100%. Like I've had comments on my show, people saying your show's like a bunch of mates sitting at the pub talking music. That's what it feels like, the show.
What a
And
compliment.
I'm proud of getting that kind of anyway, do you guys do any covers?
Yeah, we've done loads of covers over the years. Everything from Slayer, Machine Head, Sepultura, Static X, like all different sorts of stuff.
Have you done any recording? Is there any live recordings of the White Wedding, Billy Idol's White
Yeah,
Wedding?
yeah, we have. Not live. We've got a recorded version. It's on YouTube. Just look it up. Segression Wedding.
Oh, I'd really like that because yeah, I wasn't a big Billy Idol fan, but I liked a lot of his music. And I had a friend when I was doing my chef's apprenticeship that was a Billy Idol fan, big time. And yeah, he got me into a fair bit of it. But I ended up seeing him live, and that was quite
He's good, eh?
yeah, it was a great live show, but it was quite traumatic. The fucking the shit that he started doing was a bit like I've seen the Murder Junkies, not with G.G. Allen, but I've seen the Murder Junkies live. But I think yeah, Billy Idol, if he had the chance, he'd be another G.G. Allen, I'd say.
Yeah.
If you know, you'd know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about, obviously. They're coming back too. Murder Junkies are playing in Australia in February.
So who's your ultimate favorite band?
My ultimate favorite
I'm
band.
I'm I'm taking over now. I'm interviewing you.
Yeah, yeah, no, that it's quite embarrassing. Lynyrd Skinner.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they when I smoke cones and just want to like just fucking get away from everything, I'll listen to 2 hours of Leonard Skinner.
Awesome.
Fucking yeah, even more. But punk wise, because that's my favorite genre. Um, Punk wise would probably have to be Australia. Would have to be the Hard-Ons because I saw the Hard-Ons. I think their second show
We've done shows
ever.
with them. We've done shows with them. We've done shows with Nunchucker Superfly. Like
All right. Well,
I
yeah,
remember all
yeah.
those. I remember all those guys back in the day. Like the
Well,
fun. I'll give you a little funny story. It's a little bit away from the punk scene, but just how paths crossed with different genres of artists. We'd gotten quite popular in the early 2000s, and we were actually invited to the ARIA Awards. We weren't
oh,
nominated, we were invited. So we had a table at the ARIAs, right? And we're sitting down, and there's a guy at our table, one out, like by himself. So we're all drinking, having a good time, blah, blah. We start talking. And he says, I'm up for an award. And I said, what are you up for, bro? He said, best jazz or best jazz instrumental or something. And the guy's name was Wally DeBacca. And he goes, I've got a side project that's going to come out very soon. He said, and it's going to blow up. It's more poppy. He said, and I've got to change my name and blah blah blah. So that guy turns out he was Gautier, and the project and the song that he come out
oh,
was what he used to that I used to know. And so
yeah.
he sat at a table at the Arias with fucking Segression.
Wow. Wow.
And that night
I thought,
I was at the bar and going from weird thing to weird thing. I'm at the bar, and on one side of me at the bar is Daniel Johns from Silverchair, and he's
mm,
having a conversation with this big tall guy, which was Sir Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats. And then
wow.
this little metal band from Wollongong is just fucking standing at the bar drinking piss with them.
Fucking hell. I've always like since I got into like even from 14 years old, I'd go up to a band that was getting ready. They were like it's like the playroom or something. They're fucking loading on or loading off or whatever. Fucking I'd go in and I'd say, oh, do you need a hand? Blah blah blah. No, we don't need a hand. Just hang this if you want. Like fucking I'd always like, as you were saying, you always try to put yourself in that position
Yeah,
where you know, and I did that many times. Like every band that I see, I've got me and the band photo. Like I will jump up on stage right at the end before the band gets off and go, quick photo, photo, photo. Like last time that happened, well, the second last time I've done it was Guttermouth.
yeah,
And I went up to Scott. I said the first time I saw you was at the Playroom. I think it was 96, and he goes, "That was our first gig ever in Australia." And I said, "Yeah, I got a photo of that too, but on like camera kind of thing." And he's going, "Oh, let's get another photo. Let's get another photo." And I ended up putting them together, like and it was just me with long hair, him with no hair, to me with a mohawk, and him with hair down to his shoulders. And it was like, but I always did. I always Kakadu, chain. Like I always went up and said, "Oh, how are you guys? Want me to help you load your shit in the Currumbin hotel, the $1 million view, the patch, even sitting down in Melbourne, the tote."
yeah,
Like I'd always make myself part of the actual thing
yeah.
that was happening there. And like, I've got that many photos of fucking of me with The last one, as I was about to say, the last one was Teenage Bottle Rocket.
All right.
Jumped straight up on stage. Soon as the last chord was plucked, I jumped straight up on stage. I've got to get a photo with these guys. Like, I fucking love them. Bang. And the next one I'm doing is Black Flag
Oh,
when they
cool.
come over in January. That's going to be brilliant. And I've got to go see him because it's a female singer.
Really?
How can Black Flag with a female singer? It's going to be,
Uh, It's like Linkin
she,
Park have done that now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was I saw that on YouTube. That was quite bizarre, to be quite honest. I didn't really know how to take that, which I think I could probably go through the same thing again with Black Flag. Like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the funny thing when I do a lot of interviews, and I'm chatting away with whoever I'm chatting to, the one question that they always ask me at some point, so I'm going to jump in and before you probably ask me, it's like, how does someone like you sing or scream the way that you do that on stage when you're a pretty quiet sort of guy? I get that question so many times, and the other question I get is, I thought I thought you were going to be taller. How are you so short? Because I'm like 5'6" or 5'7" or something. And when I'm on
Yeah.
stage, everybody thinks that I'm this big tall dude. I get off stage and they're like, "You're a midget."
That's yeah. I I would say the same thing because my wife was saying that you couldn't get a hundred words out of you. You were like really into what you were doing, really quiet, really like you were
Focus.
talking, but you had your mind set on
Yeah, that's
something. And then when she told me about you guys and I started listening to you, and I'm thinking that can't be that because she told me first she said bass guitarist as she told me in the break, and then we played one of your film clips, and she goes, "No, that's him, I think, on the drums." And yeah, and I'm thinking, well, it has to be because listen to the vocals and to what you're telling me about this guy, kind of thing. And so, what do you have a like Henry Rollins? I don't know if you've seen Rollins live.
yeah,
He'll
yeah,
he'll be on
yeah.
the side of the stage and meditate
Yeah.
for the whole support band. He'll just sit there and meditate. Do you have
I,
something like that to get you
I
ready? Do you, oh.
I never ever set out to play in a metal band. Just the guitars were that loud that for me to be able to vocalize over the top of it, I had to really push my voice and make it really strong.
Hmm.
So, and being able to do that for a prolonged period, you have to learn how to do it right. So I actually went to lessons and I got taught by a guy named Stephen Ostrow, and he's quite an interesting fellow. He ran a club in New York City called the Continental Baths, which was a gay men's club. And he wanted to make this club less sexualized and more of an entertainment venue. So he brought in artists to play music for the men when they would go to this bathhouse. And
Yep.
he's actually responsible for discovering people like Bette Midler, Barry Manilow, Barbara
Wow.
Streisand, Patti LaBelle. He then went on to give like vocal lessons to Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam.
Yep.
He's taught Pavarotti and sang with him. So I was lucky that this guy moved to Sydney, and I went to Sydney every Monday for a few years to learn how to do it. So
Wow.
I'll give you an example, like for me to just sing the metal stuff, there's nothing fake about it. There's no distortion or anything. I
Hmm.
can launch into a metal, like one of my metal choruses, like Cage of Nails or something like that. I can go, Cage of Nails, and then go
Yeah.
straight back to my talking voice without no damage to my throat whatsoever.
Wow. Wow. And it's something you've been working on for a long time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. To get the range of stuff. So the more tools you've got vocally, the more things you can do, the more you can communicate, and the more you can obviously connect with someone.
Mm.
So if you've got
Mm.
something that's very angry and very emotive that you want to say, but you don't have the strength of your voice to do it, it's going to be very difficult. But
Yeah.
you don't want to be that all the time. Like
Mm.
some little catchy bits of the song, like "Biomechanical down with me. Are you fucking down with me?" You want to be
Mm.
able to get that rhythm out as well. So you got to have cardio to be able to push your voice and speed things up. So there's a lot
Mm.
that goes into it. But
Mm.
it's about learning your craft and focusing and wanting to genuinely be the best at what you can do.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, definitely.
the only person you
Definitely.
compete with is yourself.
Yeah. Like I'm not a Limp Bizkit fan, but I'm pretty I'm pretty I like the way he can go from that like that real scream thing
Mm.
into a like a well, Pantera, the same thing as Pantera, how he can go through from, as you were saying, screaming straight into um a
Spoken word.
totally different vocal range
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like one of my favorite movies, like I love watching movies about bands. I don't know if this bit is true, but in Bohemian Rhapsody, how oh fuck, I forgot his name.
Freddie Mercury.
Whoever played him, how they he goes, oh, I'll sing for your band, and they said, oh, not with that mouth, you won't. And he goes, but I've got seven more octaves that I can go through
Yeah.
because of the space I've got in my mouth between, because he had the overbite, the
Yeah.
big overbite. He had a lot more range that he could go through kind of by singing
Yeah.
because of that space he had in his mouth.
It's
And
funny. I actually had Freddie Mercury and Queen on my TV 2 nights ago, and I said to my wife, she come home, she goes, "What are you watching that for?" I said, "No one has done it better than Freddie Mercury.
no,
You
no way.
cannot do what he has done in his the amount of hits that he came up with, the technique that he has. He's just an absolute brilliant artist, someone that goes down in history. But
Yeah.
there's so many of the greats that aren't with us. Like something that that irks me a little bit is I can't go watch Jimi Hendrix. I can't
Mm.
go watch The Doors. I can't go watch Queen with Freddie Mercury because all of the
Yeah.
greats aren't with us.
Mm.
But we were blessed that they left their songs behind.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Uh, this is a question I like asking, and I haven't asked it for a while. Um, you've got your opportunity. You've got the opportunity to put on a six-band gig, alive, dead, whatever. What would those six bands be?
Wow. So I'd start off with Morbid Angel opening as a death metal band.
Yep.
We bring them in. I'd then probably put Queen on straight after them, so that it goes from death metal to something beautiful and operatic. I up until recently, I probably wouldn't have included this band, but I went to see them when they were just here, and I was so impressed with how good they were. I put AC/DC on next, so we're going death
Yep.
metal to pop operatic to rock. Then
Yep.
I then I would put Kendrick Lamar, the American rapper,
Yep.
because he's such a lyrical genius. The stories that he tells and the things that he stands for, I really connect with. So we're up to four. I then probably go. I need to find a female because I believe we should be equal and not just have a male dominated bill here. So I'd probably put someone like Tracy Chapman on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Just so
Okay, then you've got
so
the folk.
lovely.
You've got that folk part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd want Segression to play on the bill, so I try and squeeze
Thank
myself in
you.
there.
Thank you so
I
much.
would do that just for the sake of being there and saying that I
Yeah.
headlined over the top of Queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, thank you. I was. I've asked this about 70 times and probably even more. And I think about four times the band has gone, oh, definitely us. We'd definitely be on the bill. But yeah, it's not many bands say it. And I'm thinking,
I'd do it just for the experience,
yeah, fucking
just
oath.
to be there to say that I've been with these people. But
Mm.
there's so many other people in the music scene that I've met that have been so nice and completely left field. I remember way back, I was contacted by Andrew G because we had back in the day we had a pretty strong connection to Channel V, and Andrew
Okay.
Gunsberg was hosting By Demand, and he got in touch with us because his band used to play with my band in Parramatta and blah blah blah. So he said we've got a competition to see who's the most dedicated Blink 182 fan, and I said, all right, well, what's that got to do with me? And he said, well, this guy said that if Blink came out that he would get them to sign his back and he would get the signatures tattooed on him. So you're going to come up and do the tattoos live on Channel V. So
Wow.
I so they did this whole thing came together. So there's somewhere I've got to look for it. I think the only copy that exists is in my parents' house on a VHS tape. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get it. I'm gonna get it in the next couple of months so I'm post it on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever my daughter can do because she's the cool kid and I'm not real savvy with that stuff. But
Yeah.
there's footage of Travis Barker from Blink 182 sitting on my lap while I'm tattooing these signatures, and I'm shitting myself because they've signed it with a Sharpie, and as soon as I've gone to wipe, the half the signatures on my glove.
Oh
I
no.
remember exactly how that line went.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Travis was uh, just a phenomenal human, just such a nice guy.
You can see that, and he's got no, not shame, but like okay, it might be the same in metal country and everything like that, but a lot of, and we'll call Blink 182 punk. A lot of punk artists will not listen to anything but like a lot of punk is just punk. It's just that's it. That's I won't go that way. I won't go that way. It's just punk, 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 punk. And like Travis Barker, I've seen him at least four different bands and playing four different genres. Like the See, people would even say MGK falls into a punk kind of thing, which I just totally don't agree. But like him drumming for Machine Gun Kelly, in a rap song, in doing, with that fucking Youngblood guy kind of
Yeah.
thing, and it's like this guy just doesn't. He loves the music that much.
Doesn't-
Like as I was saying before, like if there was nothing else on, I'd go see a jazz band or I'd go see a country band. I don't know. Have you heard Casey Chambers do Eminem's "Lose
Yes,
Yourself"? Yeah,
yes, I have. That's great.
that,
That's really
oh
good.
my
Really
God.
clever.
You got to blare it too. You got
Yeah,
to
yeah.
blare it because once the guy jumps in and starts playing the guitar over her banjo, and
Yeah.
then he starts doing a bit of backup vocals in the background.
You
It
know,
just,
you know who showed me that clip? My mum. My
oh
mum.
wow. Mm.
She's my mum's big into music. She used to manage Segression back in the day, but yeah, I went to her place. It was a few years ago when that first came out, and she goes, "You got to watch this. It's really, really cool." So my mum
Mm.
was the one that actually showed me that.
Wow. Have you played with Model Sin? Obviously, you
Yeah,
would have.
yeah, we did. We when they made a comeback tour, back in I think it was 2004, maybe five, somewhere like that. It was Segression and Mortal Sin. And just before, it would have probably been maybe a year before Wayne disappeared, he actually
No,
con
okay.
he actually contacted me to put together an all-star Australian band with a couple of boys from Manticore and maybe the guys from Damaged, and he wanted me to
Wow.
be part of it. And it was just something at the time that it just didn't fall into place for anyone. But
Mm.
and it's very, very sad that
And,
Wayne.
I, and still, like, it's been a few years, and there's just nothing.
Well,
Like,
the coroner just released a report about a week or two ago saying that it's more than likely that he's passed,
oh, okay,
which
yeah.
is, which is very heartbreaking, especially for his family.
Look, I, I don't know if it's true. Like, I'm only going on because I actually posted a thing, people should, look out for this guy, blah, blah, blah. And some of the comments saying he's OD'd, he's OD'd, he's OD'd, he's OD'd, fucking, and I always thought, like, because I used to work for Crew on Call, like I worked for them for fucking many years,
Yeah,
and Mortal Sin, I was always under the impression that these guys were anti-drugs, like they
yeah,
were fully anti-drug. And I'm thinking all these comments, like, are these people just, oh, it's a metal band, or it's, it's this genre, so it's got to be a drug thing. I have no idea, but I always, yeah, I Mortal Sin in my knowledge have always been, they've even done anti-drug songs,
yeah.
and you
Andy,
know,
the bass player, he's always been into fitness. He's always really looked after himself.
mm,
He's always a good Nick Andy. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, I when we toured with him, I didn't see anything like there wasn't drugs or anything happening on that
no,
tour. Anything
no.
that I could see.
Yeah, and which you would, if the,
Oh,
you're touring with a band with,
there's certain bands from America that we've toured with that have come up and actually asked me for a bag of brown, and I didn't have any idea what he was talking about because it's just not my thing. So, but I won't name which bands that was, but you
yeah,
can
yeah,
you know the bands that were into it back in the day.
yeah. That's why I said to when I interviewed Peter Black, because like I asked him the question first off. I asked him the question, like, I listen to your lyrics now, and it is so much different from the original Hard-Ons. Everything was about degrading women and all that sort of shit. That was the
Yeah,
hard on sense. And it was a brilliant answer. He said to me, we grew up in a all boys school. Women scared the fuck out of us. We we had no fucking idea about women. That's all that. And and then I asked him, I said, like, back then when you guys started, because they were in a band with a friend of mine, Brendan, who formed Thrust on the Gold Coast, a band called Thrust,
yeah.
with Theo and a couple other friends of mine. And he was the actual drummer of a band called the Dead Rats,
Okay.
which was the hard-ons while they were at school. But
Yeah.
Kesh was on vocals. They had Brendan on drums, Blackie was on guitar, and Ray was on bass. And then when they left school, they started the hard-ons. And I said to him, back then, I remember going to see you guys. Like, I saw them on their second ever gig, and
Yeah.
I said, like, I'd go to your gigs, like, they're my favorite band, have
Yeah.
been since '83. Not once have I ever seen them with an alcoholic beverage in their hands
Well,
at a gig or anything like that. And I asked Blake, I said, how did you guys, because punk and metal back in that era, that 80% were on the smack. Like, there was like a lot of people like Candy Harlots, all them, the fucking um uh, that whole scene.
the whole King's Cross scene.
Yep, yep. And Surrey Hills, they were all just
I'm still
on
friends.
Drive.
I'm still friends with Lino, that used to be the original bass player from Ken Yarlitz. He's on my
Yeah.
Facebook. Lovely guy.
It was sad about I can't think of his name now, the
Ace
singer.
Lynch. Ace.
Yeah.
Ace Lynch. My dad
He
tattooed
had
Ace
that
back in the
fucking
day.
he had that fit.
Yeah.
He had a fit in King's Cross and everyone left him there to die thinking he was just
My
on
dad,
the
my dad
knob.
actually tattooed Ace back in the day. Ace Lynch.
Mm,
That
okay.
all that era of band was a lot older than me,
Yeah.
but I was exposed to it. Like I said, because my dad was into music, and we had a lot of different types of people coming in through the tattoo shop.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so as we were saying before, what's coming up next for Segression? I can't believe you've been around for this long, and I probably have heard you. I probably have even seen you because I've been to like gigs and gigs and gigs, like in the 80s and the 90s, all through the 90s. It was just every week, Friday, Saturday night, there'd be bands.
Yeah. Well, our
Tuesday night.
paths, our paths have crossed now, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's
So
good.
we're going to start rehearsing now in early January, and we
Yep,
just got to take it as it comes. We just see how things are starting to sound.
yep,
For us to play live, we want to have a full-on show. We're big on production and the music sounding first and foremost. The songs, it's got to be the songs. They've got to sound
yep,
and be delivered, with integrity. But then we like to have a show. So we like the lasers and the smoke machines and the
yep.
and projectors, but we don't want that to overtake the music. It's got to just
Yeah,
complement. It's got to
like
complement
Parkway
it.
Drive.
Yeah, we don't want to overdo it. We want the music
Mm.
to connect from the heart, but we would still want to put on a show
Oh,
because
sure,
we want
for
people to
sure.
come. They're going to come out. They're going to spend money, drink, enjoy themselves. So we want to
Yep.
we want to entertain them.
Have you got stuff that you've worked on that you're going to bring out when you do get back on your feet?
We've got some. I've got a lot of songs written, ready to go with the boys. It's just a matter of prioritizing our time. And the first thing we want to do is just get the back catalog back out there, get the songs tight. Because once
Mhm.
we get the band together, you gel with the songs that you know. Once you're gelling and everything's meshed and really tight, then the
Yep.
new songs that you write will be the same. They'll be cohesive, and everyone will be saying the same thing. That's all the bands that we talk about, Tracy Chapman, Queen, like all the iconic bands that you like, that I like. It's because all the members of the band are saying the same thing. You don't have like a bass player that's going off on a tangent, doing all this slap stuff while someone's playing a very gentle guitar line. So yeah, we get the band to gel first with the old songs, and then we go from there. But
Yep.
we don't put any pressure on each other. The only thing that's important to us is that we feel it and that we're enjoying it. Because if we enjoy it,
Yep.
you enjoy it.
Mm. And it's a lot of punk and metal these days, which is in the 20s, 2000s. Um, a lot of metal and punk bands are right into mental health awareness. And do you guys are your song many of your songs about that? Do you have a big take on that?
Our band has always come from one place, and that is we've always tried to be a voice and a connector for people that have been ostracized and have never fitted into something. So whether they're from a racial minority group or a sexual minority group, or they just don't feel part of anything, we've always tried to join that together. So one of our first songs that really kicked in 1996 was a song called KRK, and we were quite outspoken at the time because we basically KRK, the lyric for KRK is kill them, revive them, and kill them again. And that's our take on what should happen to pedophiles.
Yep, yep,
We were quite outspoken about it, quite aggressive in our take on it, But when you see the damage that those pedophiles are doing to children, and you have children yourself, or you're exposed with your family is
Yeah.
exposed to it, that's the emotion that runs through your veins when someone
Oh,
does something
definitely.
terrible to your family like that. So yeah, we will continue writing songs like that,
Mm.
and we haven't changed the message. We haven't moved with the times. We've just always been that band. Segregated aggression. That's how you got the word segression. And we segregated
Excellent.
because we segregated away from the mainstream. And we're aggressive because we believe in what we're saying and we're
Hmm.
powerful in our message. So we put segregated aggression together, you got segression.
Excellent.
We haven't changed. We've always been that band.
Yeah.
We're not trying to jump on the coattails of people that think that mental health is popular, so we should do that now. We've just always believed in it because
Always done it. Yeah.
we've always done it. We've always been from the heart. We've always
Mm.
we never did this to tour with Pantera. It happened.
Yeah.
We did this because we just love music and we believed in what we're saying and we connect with people, and it's just something that's in our veins.
Before we go, Mm. Well, you pretty much already said it, but what are Segression all about in one sentence?
Providing a heavy alternative music source for people that just don't fit in anywhere.
Excellent. Excellent. I wouldn't mind later on if you're up for it, doing a part two,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I think there's a lot more we can talk about.
No worries, and I'm going to send you a couple of things. I'll send you a couple of links to some like the Killers. We did a cover of their song,
Oh, mad,
and
mad.
I'll send you the Billy Idol one.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'd like to hear that.
So when we hang
Like,
up,
'cause that,
I'll send you, and you can because we do things because we want to do them. We didn't do the Billy Idol song because we think it's going to make us popular. Just happened
mm,
to be a song that I could actually sing. So
yeah, yeah.
I just had a
And
practice.
do you sing it or do you yell it?
Well, obviously there's parts in there. Hey, little sister, what have you done?
Yeah,
So then parts are saying,
yeah.
stay for a white wedding.
Yeah, excellent.
So there's a bit of
Looking
both.
forward, looking forward to hearing it.
No worries.
I'll,
Thank you.
I'll
God
put it
bless
up
you,
for
bud.
the song of the day.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you,
Chris,
both, and
for
thanks for
being
your
on the
time.
show.